D&D. Let's do some D&D. Let's go. The narrow mountain trail descends towards a cluster of weathered wooden buildings nestled against the Greypeak slopes. The air is cold and dry, carrying the smell of pine and smoke. Above, grey clouds drift low, casting the valley in mute light. A crooked sign at the path's edge reads Parnast in flaking paint. Within the village, the small market square hosts a scattering of villagers. A tanner hauling a bundle of hides, a boy chasing a stray chicken, and two hunters unloading a cart. Near the well, a figure cloaked in green addresses a small group in hushed tones. Their voice is calm, yet etched with urgency. Signs are clear. She has returned. We have little time. One of the hunters notices you and mutters to the other. Another outsider. Just what we needed. The cloaked figure glances your way, hood shadowing their features. You, traveler, you look capable. Parnast is in danger, and I would speak with you. Wind rattles the shutters on the nearby buildings, and in the distance, a single craven cries. The villagers' eyes seem to follow you, wary, yet expectant. The sky is covered in thick grey cloud, muting the light and softening the shadows across Parnast. The air feels heavy with the promises of snow, though none falls yet. It's late afternoon. The sun is hidden behind the overcast sky, casting the village in a cool, dim light that will soon give way to evening. Parnast is small. Fewer than 30 buildings huddled together in its center, with a handful more scattered along the surrounding slopes. Based on what you can see, the population is likely between 150 and 200 people, most of them hunters, trappers, and traders who live modestly and know each other by name. I approach the man in the green cloak. The cloaked figure turns slightly as you close the distance. Beneath the hood, you glimpse a weathered face, marked by deep lines and the eyes the color of wet stone. His voice is low but carries clearly over the square's murmur. I am Dalo. The omens have been troubling, and now strangers walk our paths. Perhaps That is fate, perhaps chance, but I believe you may be the help we need. The hunters exchange uneasy looks, their hands resting on the hafts of their spears. So, I'm not the first stranger around these parts. Dalo's mouth twitches in something between a frown and a smirk. No, others have come, some seeking fortune, others hiding from it. Few stay long, fewer still live unchanged. His gaze drifts briefly toward the mountains beyond the village, then returns to you. But the timing of your arrival, it matches the stirring we felt. Stirring. Whispers in the wind, shadows when none should fall. The old paths in the forest, waking again. Dalo's tone drops lower, forcing the nearby hunters to lean in to hear. And the Seer's name, spoken aloud for the first time in years. One hunter mutters, "Best not to speak of her here." But Dalo ignores him, eyes fixed on you beneath the hood. I'm willing to help, but I'm gonna need more details. How about I get myself a place to stay first? Dalo nods slowly. Fair. The frosted flagon takes travelers. Speak to Olma. She keeps the hearth warm and the roof tight. He steps back toward the villagers, his voice dropping again to private tones. Rest. When the lamps are lit, we will talk further. A faint gust rattles the signpost, and the smell of wood smoke drifts from a larger timber building near the square's edge. Its painted mug-shaped sign swaying gently in the wind. I look around to see if there's anything worth noticing in this square. Perception check. With a total of 11, you catch a few details through the muted bustle of the square. A stack of fresh-cut firewood sits nearly beside the well, though some logs bear strange, shallow gouges unlike axe marks. A weathered notice board stands nearby, its parchment edges curled from damp. Most postings are faded, with one fresh sheet bears a familiar crest in red wax. Across the square, a man in a patched leather jerkin keeps glancing at you while pretending to shot fish in a barrel. I walk up to the notice board and scan through the parchments. Most of the parchments are brittle and faded, old hunting talents, missing livestock notices, and trade offers long since expired. The fresh sheet draws your attention. Its script is sharp and deliberate, written in deep black ink. By order of the Council, Parnast, travelers and residents alike are advised to avoid the northern woods after sundown. Strange lights and voices have been reported. Those who can identify the source will be rewarded. The red wax seal beneath it bears a stylized raven with wings outstretched. I try to recall if I've come across this symbol before. A history check. The symbol stirs a faint recollection. You've seen the raven with outstretched wings marked in passing before, not as a noble crest, but as the emblem used by small frontier councils in the Greypeak region to denote official decrees. It usually marks matters the council deems dangerous enough to warrant public notice, but not widespread panic. Here in Parnast, its presence suggests the Northern Woods problem is both recent and considered serious by the local leaders. I walk up to the logs where I spotted the strange markings. The firewood stack is neatly arranged, each log cut to an even length. On several pieces, you find shallow, parallel grooves, too clean to be from splitting, too narrow for most tools. The edges of the gouges are slightly darkened as if touched by heat or acid. A faint, resinous scent clings to those marked logs, sharper than the normal smell of pine. Judging by their position in the stack, the marked pieces were placed there deliberately rather than hidden. Nature check. You can be certain. The grooves could be claw marks from a creature with narrow talons, but they're unusually even in depth and slightly scorched at the edges, which doesn't fit most natural predators you know. Whatever made them might not be entirely mundane. So each log is roughly 18 inches long and about 6 inches thick, standard for hearth fire in a mountain village like Parnast. So 6 inches thick and 18 inches long. I walk up to the man who's been eyeing me. The man straightens slightly as you close in, his hands still deep in the barrel of fish. His weathered face is half hidden beneath a hook, and his eyes flick toward the hunters before settling on to you. "You're not from here," he says, voice low and rough. "Best get your nose out of the wrong woodpile, unless you're ready to loot." He flicks a glance toward the stacked logs, then back at you with a faint knowing smirk. "How do you know?" I'm going to ask you about the markings on the logs. The man's smirk widens just enough to show a gap where a tooth should be. "Because you're the only one who looked twice at them. Everyone else knows better." He pulls a small fish from the barrel, slaps it onto a wooden block, and begins cutting it with quick, practiced cuts. "Some things in Parnast don't like being noticed. Those marks, they one of them." So it's not something unusual, I mean. "Not unless you think scorch-marked claw grows on trees," he says, wiping the knives on his jerkin. "Happened before, years back. Folks went looking, and well, they didn't all come back." He glances toward the northern edge of the village. "Logs came from that way. Same place the council says to avoid." "And how long ago was it?" "5 winter past," he replies, without looking up from the fish. "Snow came early that year. Covered the tracks before anyone could follow him proper. But the marks, same as now. Same smell too." He pauses, eyes narrowing slightly. "Never thought I'd see it again." You were eyeing me before I even took a look at those rocks. Aye, he admits, sliding the gutted fish into a basket. Strangers dig out in Parnast. Must either have a reason to be here, or trouble follows them. He meets your gaze for the first time, expression flat. You look like the second kind. Yeah, still do. How do you even get fish up here? Are there like a water source nearby? The grey flow, he says, jerking his chin eastward. Cold, fast river runs down from peaks. You follow it half a day, you'd find her wide enough for netting. We keep her secret from outsiders. Fish is worth more than coin in winter. He glances at the basket. Some say she's fed by springs deep under mountains, old places. Best not to wander too far upstream. Why are you telling me these secrets if I'm an outsider? Because, he says, leaning closer. If those marks mean what I think they do, you won't be an outsider for long. You'd either be gone or in the ground. He straightens, tossing the fish onto the board. Figure you might as well know what's worth protecting, in case you make it through. The Greypeak mountains rise sharply around the Parnast. Their jagged granite peaks dusted with year-round snow. Narrow passes and scree-choked slopes make overland travel difficult, with only a few trails connecting the village to the wider region. To the east, the Grey Flow River cuts a winding path through pine forest valleys. Its cold waters fed by hidden mountain springs. The forest thins towards the higher elevations, giving way to hardy scrubs, wind-gnawed trees, and exposed stone. North of the village, the terrain grows darker and denser. Evergreen stands mixed with black-barked trees. The ground soft and moss-covered. Old, half-collapsed cairns and weather-worn stones dot the underground. hinting at past settlements or forgotten boundaries. The air here is thin and cold, carrying scents of pine resin, damp earth, and distant smoke. The weather shifts quickly. Clear mornings can turn to blizzards by afternoon. Wildlife includes mountain goats, bears, and wolves, though locals speak of stranger shapes glimpsed in the fog. Far above, the mountain sides are scarred by ancient rock slides, and in some cliff sides, dark caves' mouths gape like watchful eyes. North, dense evergreen and black barked forest, and the moss clearing is grey flow river valley, a winding mountain trail leading to a smaller hamlet, eventually the lowlands. The slopes here are dotted with goat pastures and small hunting cabins. Rocky highland rising quickly into the Greypeak slopes. The terrain is harsh, with cliffs, loose scree, and scattered alpine meadows. Old ruins and collapsed watchtowers sometimes emerge from the storm. It's the west. Feels about right. Well, guess see you around. Old man, he chuckles dryly, setting his knife down. Name's Harbin. If you're still here, come spring, buy me a drink, and I'll tell you the rest of the story. With that, he turns back to the fish, a soft scrape of his blade zooming over the muted sounds of the square. And there I head to the inn, frosted flagon. The frosted flagon stands at the edge of the square, its timber walls weathered but sturdy. A carved sign in the shape of a frosted mug swings gently above the door, creaking in the wind. Warm light spills from the windows, carrying with it the smell of roasting meat, fresh bread, and wood smoke. Inside, the common room glows with lamplight. A wide hearth crackles at the far wall, and a handful of locals nurse drinks at rough-hewn tables. Behind the counter, a stout woman with silver-streaked hair polishes a mug, glancing up as you enter. "Evening, traveler," You looking for a bed, a meal, or both? Seven others moving forwards, sitting two tables near the hearth. Pair card players in the corner, and the silver-haired woman behind the counter. I'll have something to drink first, thanks. The woman sets the mug aside and reaches for a clay jug on the shelf. Houseboy, I warm you quick, she says, filling a sturdy tankard with dark, frothy ale. She slices it across the counter. Name's Olma. Haven't seen you in Parnast before. Passing through? Or here on business? The smell of roasted venison drifts from the kitchen door, and the murmur of conversation carries softly from the tables. Just happened to come across. Figured I'd stay here for some rest and stock up rations. So, do you know about the nearer settlements by chance? Olma leans an elbow on the counter. Nearest Stone Fort, down the southern trail. 2 days if the weather holds. Small place, mostly herders. After that, you've got Hill Picket. Another day beyond. East's nothing but river and cliffs. If you're well past the mountains. And west? Well, west is stone and snow, unless you know the old passes. She tilts her head slightly. Not much reason to wander far in winter, unless you've got business worth freezing for. I don't really mind the cold. Olma chuckles softly. Then you'll get along fine here. Just remember, cold's not the only thing that bites in these parts. The ale is strong and malty, with a faint honeyed aftertaste that lingers on your tongue. The warmth spreads quickly through your chest, easing the chill from the mountain air still clinging to your clothes. Behind you, one of the card players laughs sharply, then lowers his voice as the game resumes. There was a man in a green cloak out in the square earlier. He said he'll meet me here in a bit. Forgot to ask for his name though. Olma nods knowingly. That be Dalo. Keeps to himself most days, but folks listen when he speaks. Knows the old ways and the old troubles. She sets another mug to dry on the rack. If he asks to meet you, he's got a reason. Just be sure you're ready to hear it. Olma gives a small smile. Aye, hard maintenance once you've met him. Carries the weight of this place on his shoulders, though he'd never say it. The hearth crackles, and the smell of roasting meat grows richer as the kitchen door swings briefly open. Just past sunset, Olma says, glancing toward the windows where only faint lamplight pushes back the darkness outside. Night comes early this time of year, and it comes cold. Is dinner going to be ready soon? If not, I'll take a room and have my things unpacked. Won't be long. Venison stew and bread's nearly done. Olma replies. But I can get you your key now so you can settle in. She reaches under the counter, producing a small iron key with a worn leather tab marked 3. Up the stairs, last door to the right. I'll have a bowl sent up if you don't feel like coming back down. No, I'll come down to see Dalo once he's here. How much do I pay for the room here again? 5 silver for the night, breakfast included. Olma says. Another 3 if you want dinner added. Though I'd say it's worth it. Mentions from today's hunt. She sets the key on the counter, waiting for your payment. I place 2 gold pieces on the counter to pay in advance. Olma sweeps the coins into a small wooden till. That'll cover you for 3 nights with meals. If we end up staying longer, we'll sort it then. She slides the key toward you with a nod. Make yourself at home. I'll keep an eye out for your friend. From the hot side tables, the low hum of conversation continues, punctuated by the occasional clink of mugs. If Dalo's here and I'm not, do inform me of his arrival. Olma gives a firm nod. You'll be the first to know. She returns to polishing mugs, her eyes occasionally flicking toward the door as the common room settles into a steady, warm rhythm against the cold night outside. The stairs creak softly underfoot as you ascend. The hallway above is lit by a single oil lamp, its flame swaying slightly in a draft. The air smells faintly of pine resin from the timber walls. Your room is small but tidy. A narrow bed with a wool blanket, a stout wooden chest at the foot, and a small table with a clay lamp beside it. Frost rims the corners of the single window, and through it you can just make out the dark outline of the mountains against the cloudy night sky.